Welcome to Brazelton, Georgia, and the beautiful Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. In 1996, Dr. Don Penos acquired and upgraded this iconic facility to its former glory, giving birth to the American Le Mans Series. Today, we race a car that predates even Road Atlanta itself. Welcome to Grand Prix Legends, live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Peter Mackay, and I am privileged to be joined in the booth by the better half of Double Scotch, Ryan Walker. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose, using camera angles perfected by Dougie Beard. Now, Road Atlanta is as picturesque as it is challenging for these drivers, and here is our GSRC track guide to tell you a bit more about it.
Welcome to Road Atlanta, the scene of incredible sports car racing for decades and the home to the Petit Le Mans. This is a track that has proven itself to be worthy of attention on a world stage. With it being situated only an hour northeast of Atlanta, Georgia, the circuit is in a prime location. But despite its flagship race, in contrast to the real Le Mans, the full course is a measly 2.5 miles long. The club layouts also clock in at just under 2 miles. Packed within this small lap length is a series of technical and challenging corners, some of which can be race-ending even when small mistakes are made. Turn 1 is a fast sweeper which compresses the car into the track, but the high speeds mean that when you go off, you typically go off in a big way. Turn 3 is notorious for its curved entry into a blind apex. Too far inside and you face a cut course penalty. Too far outside and you're likely to spin out. Then there's the unassuming Turn 5. The wide curbing lures you into getting greedy, but the close walls on either side gobble up cars and spit them out as a crumpled heap. With all the tricky fast turns, that's not to say that there aren't passing opportunities. The main one comes at the chicane at the bottom of the backstretch. The huge downhill drop into the turn makes outbraking yourself quite easy though, so be careful. The whole thing wraps up with the frightening final corner. With nothing but a giant wall right to the outside as cars fly through at high speed, it's not often that wrecks are small. Boasting a wide swath of series over its history, everything from NASCAR to Indy Lights and of course IMSA, the main use of the track is SCCA events and driving schools. No wonder this place is popular both in real life and here on the iRacing service. Fans will no doubt get to enjoy many more years of action at this incredible track.
So there you are, a little bit more information about this Road Atlanta circuit here in Brazelton, Georgia. Ryan, great to have you back in the box as always here for the Grand Prix Legends series. What are the drivers up against here today at Road Atlanta?
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be back here today with you as well, Peter. And this fantastic Road Atlanta track hosted its first endurance race back in 1998, which was the Petit Le Mans event as it's formerly known now. And Don Penos as well was the owner of the track, and kind of put the track through several changes when he bought it. And ever since, it's hosted a whole range of SCCA racing, club racing, you name it, it's probably been here. And the lap record as well in LMP1 is currently held actually still by Christian Klein, who was driving the Fuso Sport LMP1 car back in 2008. And today, this will be host to the Grand Prix Legends series. And there's several places that you can pass around here. You can pass into Turn 1 if you get a good exit on the exit of the final corner. And but also you've got that twisty, tricky Turn 2 and Turn 3 section heading down the hill, heading up to Turn 5. But your best opportunity of making a move is down that back straight, heading down to Turn 8, Turn 10A and Turn 10B. So plenty of passing opportunities.
Plenty of passing opportunities indeed. We'll be looking forward to seeing that, particularly at turn 10A and B at the chicane that was put in 1997. Let's have a look at the championship standings and see how we're looking at the moment in this part of the Grand Prix Legends series. And still, Mick Claridge continues his domination of the series. 4 wins in a row so far in this championship. Ovi Trengray, the nearest to Mick Claridge, 41 points behind. Topi Kortenemi sitting in third, Bruce Nelson in fourth, and Bill Tyler rounding out your top 5.
Yep, in the F2 Championship at the moment, it's still being led by Dave Colin from the United States, but at the moment it's Andrew in second, only 15 points further back, with Finland's Janne Lehmann in third. And then Robert Plumley, surprisingly as well, having a good start to the season in fourth. And then rounding out the top 5 is Finland's Hideki Koivisto, so it's all still to play for in the F2 Championship.
And finally, let's take a look at the Nations Cup and see where we're sitting for that particular championship. And by virtue of Mick Claridge's dominating performance so far in this season, the United Kingdom lead over Norway by 41 points, with United States sitting in third, Finland in fourth, and Germany in fifth. And finally, the race details for today here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship from Road Atlanta. As always in the Grand Prix Legends Championship, completely open setup for these drivers, so they can adapt and twist the setup however they like to get it just to how they require. And thankfully, in the wonderful community we have here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship, the top drivers more than willing to help drivers who might find it all a little bit confusing. It certainly does for me. Round 5 of the championship today, so already approaching half distance of the second season of 2021. 25 laps from a standing start. And Ryan, it's quite a short lap around here at Road Atlanta, so those 25 laps will go in no time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you might think it Road Atlanta's a long track, but in reality, it's I think it's one of the tracks, one of the shortest anyway, when you think about it, because it's not really a long lap, and especially multi-class racing, you catch up to the slower class cars really quickly. So I think this race, it might be over quickly, but nevertheless, we'll still be in for a great race today.
And a new paint scheme for Rob Olenek. So the silver with blue and white NART stripes has been ditched, and now a bit more traditional red and white paint scheme here in the Lotus pattern. Very nice indeed. So Rob Olenek, his fastest lap time so far in qualifying, a 1:16.712. That puts him on pole position right now, 0.3 of a second ahead of Mick Claridge. Now, can Olenek improve? No, he pulls out of that second lap, goes into pit lane. So Mick Claridge now running the proper Lotus, classic Team Lotus colours, green and yellow there as well. Number 1, hard on the brakes, as you can see, just by the magic of digitalisation. All of a sudden, the Jackie Stewart paint scheme turns up. But more importantly, let's look at the stopwatch for this number 1 car of Mick Claridge. Can he put it on pole position? He'll be off the front row if he doesn't improve. 1:16.715 snatches the pole position from Rob Olenek by 16 thousandths of a second, Ryan.
Yep, and Ove Trengray comes across the line now to do a 1:17.423, and that puts him up to 5th on the grid. Yeah,
a little bit behind where Ove Trengray might want to be, as we see Chris Murakami in his traditional Banzai paint scheme that we always love to see as well. So Mick Claridge on pole by 16 thousandths of a second. Now we've got a little bit of an update here on Antonio Reese's car. The eagle on the front there, Ryan, we believe that's a reference to the big eagle, Dan Gurney.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Gurney, probably one of my heroes in motorsport. He's famous for running the Toyota program in the GTP era back in IMSA. So yeah, he was around for quite some time, Dan Gurney, and actually turned out some pretty good cars.
Oh yes, he did indeed. Of course, first guy to win in a Grand Prix in his own brand of car. Which is Mick Claridge taking a lot of room on the inside of the corner there, but shouldn't thwart his progress. Still sitting on pole position. My favourite Dan Gurney story is when he was Willie T. Ribb's boss, and they were running at the Daytona 24-hour with the Celica Turbo, and Willie T. Ribbs went off to the hotel with his brother a bit when he was out of the car, and was away for a mysteriously long time, and came back, and Dan Gurney, let's just say he knew what Willie had been up to, enjoying the company of some of the locals.
As Antonio Rees comes across the line now and finishes his lap, but stays 9th, but riding on board with Andrew N, heading through final chicane now, and it looks like it's going to be a slow lap by the looks of it.
Yep, pulls out of it in the end. Steve O'Malley here as well, running the Marlborough colours. That looks fantastic there as well in that 27 machine, sweeping through the final corner. It's so fast through there, and that's really where you want some aerodynamics to push you into the ground. But, well, the simple fact is there is no aerodynamic help in these Lotus 49s. A proper old-school Grand Prix car with the Cosworth DFV engine in the back, and, well, you can really open it up on that back straight here at Road Atlanta. Well, we will have the grid for you in just a moment to see how they line up for this 25-lap race here at Road Atlanta in the heart of Georgia. Of course, home of the Petit Le Mans race, 10-hour race, which ran for the first time all the way back in 1998 as well. Won by none other than Wayne Taylor in one of my favourite cars, Ryan, the Ferrari 333.
Yep, I remember that car well, and probably back then it was the best era for sports car racing, in my mind.
Oh, controversial. There you go. Straight in there on a Saturday morning, double scotch with the hard-hitting opinions here as well. I mean, it's hard to argue with the Ferrari 333. What a wonderful car. But anyway, we are digressing. Mick Claridge on pole position then by the most slender of margins from Rob Olenek. Will today be the day that Mick Claridge's massive run of wins is broken? Topi Kortenemi and Lars Watzig start on the second row. Great qualifying there from Lars Watzig. Row 3 will be Ovi Trengrade and Yanni Lehmann. Row 4 will be Andreas Henkel and Chris Murakami, with Antonio Rees and John Olsen rounding out your top 10.
Starting in 11 will be Andre Schumacher, with the Spanish driver Xavier Sanchez alongside him in 12th. Laus Dawson in 13th, with Colin Bentley 14th, Robert Plumley in 15th, Bruce Nelson in 16th, Emmanuel Pereira in 17th, Michael Grinzinger in 18th, Roland Wallbach 19th, and Randy Huff in 20th.
And the last portion of the grid, Don Good and Dave Cohen will start on the 11th row, followed by Andres Bruno and Andrew Eng. Row 13 sees David Meyer and Steve O'Malley, with Cesare Piccolo and Giacomo Angeli running on the 14th row. And our last two, Eugenio Massa and Sergio Furtado, will start on the back row of the grid. 30 cars, this could get quite busy here at Road Atlanta. Mick Claridge prepared on pole position. Now, as you can see, Rob Olenek now in his NART Ferrari with the blue, white and red stripe up the middle there. So nice to see that Rob hasn't ditched that paint scheme. Hasn't brought as many wins as his previous paint scheme, but I think that might change in the not too distant future. Look at that, what a sight. 30 Lotus 49s weaved right round the back of the final corner here at Road Atlanta. In fact, only the first 4 rows are actually getting a straight look down to turn 1, and off they go down towards turn 1. Mick Claridge leads us away here at Road Atlanta. Down they go. It's a long drag towards turn 1, but Mick Claridge, the championship leader, gets in there ahead with Rob Olenek right in behind as well. You'll have to stick with Claridge, not let him get into his rhythm. We've seen it so many times. Topi Kortenemi in third as well. Good start from the Finn. Yeah,
it's been a good start for Topi, and most of the fields have managed to make it through the first few the first couple of corners rather so far. And Mick Claridge at the moment having a great start to the race, leading the race, and already by the looks of it starting to pull away from Rob Olenek.
Yeah, he's really asking a lot of questions early here as Mick Claridge. We know he's so good on those cold tyres. He can really make it work, and it's such a tightrope act going down the S's at Road Atlanta anyway, but on cold tyres it makes it even worse. So onto the back straight we go. Huge long back straight here at Road Atlanta. So long that actually former owners of the circuit, the Whittington brothers, used to land their private aircraft here on the back stretch of the circuit.
Yep, I did hear about that, and I always find it fascinating listening to your historic stories or facts, by the way, Peter. But as the field come around the last corner, heading down the hill to the start-finish line, it's still Claridge leading the field, and actually Olenek's closed the gap up to him, and Kortenemi has managed to keep up with them as well. But Ovi Trengrade had a brilliant start up into 4th place.
That he did, yes. Trengrade really on the move now as well. So Rob Olenek, he's come so close in the last couple of rounds. He's just had a couple of crashes that have really thwarted his his challenge, but I think this is his opportunity. A little bit of home field advantage here, of course. Rob will be very familiar with Road Atlanta and its layout, whereas he'll be a little bit less familiar to Mick Claridge as well. It's funny how on different sides of the ponds we know different circuits that little bit better. Of course, last week at Donington, very much Claridge country.
Absolutely, there's a battle for 7th place is going on at the moment between Yanni Lehman and Chris Marikami. And Marikami looks like he's got a great exit heading onto the back straight. He can use that slipstream to the advantage and try and make a move into the chicane.
And this is where the setup at Road Atlanta is such a compromise. You've got half of the circuit that is really, really twisty and you need a car for the corners, and then it's just a drag race down the back straight as well. And of course, setting up for this very important overtaking opportunity at turn 10A and B, the chicane. And Trengrade's hit problems. Trengrade going very slow. It's a mistake for Trengrade at turn 10A and 10B, and he gets swamped.
Yeah, as we come across, it looks like we're just about to look at the replay now to see what happened to Trengrade, and he's heading down the back straight, and it looks like there's nothing happening here. I wonder if it's into the chicane, and he goes off. I thought he was going off track. I don't know if he's maybe just tried to get on the power and lost the rear end possibly, but we're just about to see.
So such a tough braking zone there as well. Just gets a little bit hot on the... Whoa, it's a big one. Yeah, just doesn't quite get the car slowed down in time. Of course, these brakes are very, very basic by modern standards, of course. Very much of the time, 1967, and braking systems, you've got very long braking distances in the Lotus 49, but also very easy to lock up. If you just apply that tiny bit too much brake pressure, the wheel will lock up and you will get into a little bit of a slide. So modulating that brake pressure, very important to being quick in this car. So Mick Claridge still leads then, but not being given any quarter at all by Rob Olenek in second, and Topi Kortenemi in third, who of course set the fastest lap of the race last time by.
Yeah, as they come across the line now, and it looks like Claridge still leading, but Olenek and Kortenemi are keeping him honest, and as they head down to turn 1 now, Olenek's definitely closed that gap back down, but looking back in the field, Uwe Trengrade is heading down to turn 1, and he's starting to make up positions now, and it looks like he's going up the inside to take 8th position.
Yeah, Uwe Trengrade here giving him an awful lot of work to do. This really, really painful to make a mistake this early on, because he lost so many positions on track, which are really hard earned as well. So you can see that there with that Cosworth DFV V8 singing right behind the driver's head as well. You can't imagine what these things must have been like to drive back in 1967. It must have been like driving a space shuttle at that point. I bet it still would be today. So 25 laps here at Road Atlanta. We're on to lap 4. So these are going to click off thick and fast. The fastest lap of the race so far goes to Topi Kortenemi, 1:16.988, the first driver to break that 1:17 barrier.
Yep, absolutely. As they come over the hill now to head over the start-finish line again, and Mick Claridge, I thought he would have pulled away, but at the moment he's not been basically given any space to try and pull away. He's just Olenek and Kortenemi are keeping him honest, and I think it's one of those situations, Peter. What do you do if you're behind Claridge, and do you try and make a move straight away, or do you just bide your time and just see how it pans out?
I think you've got to look at the form book, and we've seen Mick Claridge lead from pole position and win from pole position so many times. So I think if you've got any kind of pace to make a move, you've got to try it. You've got to try and upset his rhythm, because if you let him go out front, he's just like a metronomic robot is Mick Claridge. He's like, I am Mick Claridge, I stick out fastest laps.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
He's not going to thank me for that one.
Yeah, Mick will probably give you a clip round here for that. But as we ride on board with Uwe Trengrade heading onto the back straight now, the next person in front of him is Finland's Yanni Lehman, who is in 7th place. And Uwe Trengrade's got the run, he's got the slipstream, he's going to make a move. I think Lehman is not going to fight him too much, and I think he recognises that Trengrade is pretty much on a roll and is quicker at the moment.
Yeah, this is Trengrade really should be further up the field than this. He's very much on the recovery drive, and yeah, we're going to see big burst of pace. Make no mistake about that, but can he get back to the lead role? It's a long way Topi Cortinelli still laying down fast laps, but interestingly how they're trading fastest laps, but virtually no change at all in the kind of gaps here between Claridge, Olenek and Cortinelli. The only thing I would maybe say, well, as I say that, the last lap, a 1:16.6 for Rob Olenek. Now, it hasn't registered as his best time because he maybe stepped over track limits, but Olenek is throwing absolutely everything at it. 2.5 tenths quicker than Claridge last time by.
Yeah, he's getting closer now as I head onto the back straight, and I don't think Olenek's close enough, but with the length of the straight, he might be able to close up in the slipstream just before the chicane, but at the moment, Claridge is just doing everything that he needs to do, just hitting his marks and doing it's rubble! Oh, Rob Olenek clipped the grass there and got sideways. I thought it was going to end up in disaster.
Oh, yes, that is not where you want to get loose, because that is one of the fastest places anywhere on the circuit. It's probably one of the fastest places in the state. So we see Trengrade still moving by, getting by Chris Murakami. And although I'm sure Obi will be having fun going past all these drivers, he's probably thinking, oh, if I didn't make that mistake, he's definitely got the pace to be running at the front of Uwe Trengrade. But he'll be kicking himself.
He will indeed as they head into turn one now, and Trengrade pretty much just in a recovery to drive and just trying to salvage as many positions back as possible, and up into 6th place at the moment. Next person in front of him is Lars Vertzig.
Yeah, of course, Lars, not a regular driver in the championship, but fantastic to have him here. Qualified in 4th, running in 5th right now. Now, he does have quite a bit of damage at the front of, well, it appears like he has quite a bit of damage at the front nose, but that is just more the kind of rough nature of these circuits and the fragile construction of this car. It's not too much to worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing with these cars as well, because you're going so quick, and then all of a sudden you're having to slow down really quickly. It's just the compression of the cars in the front end as well, just hitting the ground. So it's nothing major. But the battle for P7 is they're just about to. I thought they were going to go 3 wide there, and whoa! Oh goodness me, Janne Lehmann going for some rallycross action there. Well, we know it's a bit of a national sport in Finland to go off-road, but Lotus 49, as impressive a piece of machinery it is, not really fit for purpose. Whoa, now who's that going off? Just a couple of spots. I think it's Snelson going through the grass there. Now, how often do we see that, Ryan? Just taking off that little bit more on the exit of that very fast final corner. And you can hit the grass there. Sometimes you get away with it and you just get back onto circuit, but other times, if you get onto the grass, get loose, and you're into that wall that's waiting there for you. Yeah, like you say, you can get away with a little bit of grass, but if you take too much, it could sometimes spit you out. And also the grass on iRacing as well, it's slippy at the moment, so take too much of it and you'll probably end up spinning or getting sideways most of the time.
Good move there from Xavier Sanchez in the number 3 machine, past Chris Murakami, and off he goes, down onto the back straight once again. Of course, like I say, the Whittington brothers who used to land their planes on here actually sold the circuit to Randy Lanier. And shall we say, Ryan, that they both made their considerable fortunes in more or less the same way with, shall we say, well, we see lots of cigarette sponsorship in racing, but this was also part of, shall we say, smokable products, but not cigarettes, shall we say.
Yeah, basically, yeah, basically bad boy products, if you want to call it that. But,
yes.
But anyway, this battle in the field as well is still going on. So between Trengrade and Lars, and Trengrade gained another position, so his recovery drive continues. Next person up ahead of him is Andreas Henkel.
Yeah, Andreas Henkel, of course, fighting away for the F2 Chapman. My apologies. No, I always get getting. I knew I would do that today. Get them mixed up between. I get them mixed up between. Now I've even forgotten who I get them mixed up by. Anyway, number 5, Andreas Henkel in the Martini colours as well. Of course, one of our drivers we see in the Lotus 79s. Yes.
Yeah, he's having a good race, Andreas, as well. He's. I think last time out we had a great race as well and a good result, and again, last time out, he's having a quiet race and just doing what he has to do, keeping out of trouble, and all by himself on track at the moment. And it's for me anyway. I prefer being out by myself on track because you can just relax and do your thing. But the battle up at the front as well for the lead between, or the battle for second rather, is going on between Rob Ulrich, because Mick Claridge is starting to get into that robot zone, if you like.
He is indeed, yeah. And I'm not going to do the voice again in case the Mackenzie boys are watching, because I'll be for the high jump. They're always watching. But this is this sort of blueprint for success that Mick Claridge has deployed every single race for nearly a season and a half now. Absolutely incredible. No other driver has won a race in 2021, and we're well into the second season of 2021, of course. So it must be tough for guys like Olenek and Cortinemi, which you take Mick Claridge out of the equation, and these guys are on such a high level. But Mick Claridge is just, qualifies on pole, runs pretty steady in the first few laps, gives the guys almost a little bit of a tease that they might be able to beat him, and then all of a sudden the afterburners get just wound on. We're now on to lap 10, just approaching lap half race distance. Now he's thinking, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy, off I go.
Yeah, pretty much. He's kind of like one of those school kids in a way. He'll take something that belongs to you and then tease you and kind of wind you up and say you'll get it back, and then you don't. But you're doing the job that he needs to do at the moment, and again, just putting in a great drive and just slowly pulling away. He's got the gap up to about 1.7 seconds now, as the battle with Snelson and Olsen for 10th and 11th is going on at the moment.
Snelson and Olsen, that sounds like a law firm. Like, have you been in an accident? Call Snelson and Olsen and we will get you absolutely no compensation. We get those adverts quite a lot here in the UK, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
It's like, we will be sure to claim all of your compensation for you and keep it for ourselves. Lap 11 of 25 here at Road Atlanta. And I've figured it out now. I always get Chris Hengler and Andreas Henkel mixed up, Ryan. No idea why. It's just a bit of a mental block. And I was thinking about it last week and going, I'm surprised I've got them mixed up yet. And right enough, there I go, got it mixed up today. But Henkel running very, very strong. Of course, very good in the Lotus 79, the slicks and wings alternative to this car. But really mastering the Lotus 49 as well. And of course, very, very high iRating, 5th seed in this race, with an iRating of, for Andreas Henkel, 3,793, which is almost as good as you, Ryan.
Well, I've never been good on iRacing, but that's...
Well, that's a lie.
That's, yeah, well, I have my days, put it that way.
I've never seen a more exquisite display of fuel saving in a Lamborghini.
Yeah, what can I say? Scottish people are tight when it comes to fuel.
That's it. Yeah, you want to save fuel, get a Scottish guy in the car. I tell you, I had a friend of mine just got 4 new tyres on his Audi RS6, £1,000. That made me that was painful just listening to it. On board, Chris Murakami. I was fighting a little bit of understeer there coming out of turn 7. For me, Ryan, that's the most important corner on the circuit, because if you can ace it and get the power down early, you get the benefit all the way down to turn 10A and B.
Yeah, you do, and you can get a massive run on someone, but maybe you can be a second back, and then all of a sudden that gap just comes down just because of the nature of the slipstream. But as these guys come over the hill now, heading back down again to the start-finish line, and yep, this battle's pretty much said we're just not settled down at the moment as they come across the line, and Murakami getting close, but not close enough to make a move into turn 1.
No, not quite getting there. Really difficult to make that move into turn 1. You see it tried, and well, you often see cars upside down in the barrier having tried it. It's very, very difficult, particularly in an open wheel car. And for the driver on the outside, they are in a very perilous position indeed. But I have to say, this is one of the most wonderfully old school layouts, but with modern facilities. And of course, a lot of thanks for that goes to Dr. Don Paynos, who bought the circuit, which was in quite a bad way when he got it in 1996, and spent a lot of money, and of course brought Petit Le Mans and the American Le Mans series. Basically, it was spring launched. It was springboarded from Road Atlanta, and you know what, Ryan? He made his money as the inventor of the nicotine patch.
I didn't know that. I was going to say I thought I heard about him inventing something, but I couldn't put my mind to what it was. But yeah, he was always a fascinating guy, or Don Paynos rather, and one of the people that was involved with the Delta Wing as well.
That he was, yes, well remembered. Yeah, the Delta Wing. It kind of looked like, you remember the spaceship in Austin Powers that looked slightly rude? It kind of reminded me of that. It almost looks like Squidward's nose, the Delta Wing. So we're going to look back at the battle for P9. Janne Lehmann leading this battle from Laust Olsen, running in 10th right now. When the number 11 car, so we're right on board with the on the side pod cam of Laust Olsen's machine. Coming around turn 6, turn 7. This is really tricky. The car is moving around. You've got to try and carry the corner speed, but then get back on the power, minimise the wheel spin. Beautiful example there from Laust Olsen. Very, very tidy indeed as they power on. Look at those speeds. Well over 160 miles an hour. Another 170. Will be nearly 180 when we come onto the brakes. Laust Olsen's got a very good run here as Ian go front on the brakes. Has a look. Janne Lehmann sees it coming very, very late in the break from Janne Lehmann and gets it just pulled down to the apex. Brilliant stuff. Yeah,
I think I don't think Laust is going to throw it out the inside. He's kind of just showing that he's there, but just trying to distract Janne, but Janne not letting it get to him and just keeping his cool.
Yeah, very cool indeed. But what would you expect from a pair of Scandinavians? That ice cool. What's cooler than being cold? Scandinavians. As I don't think that was quite the lyric. That that's a curse. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Peter, but for that curse, I'm going to have to take your bottle of Scots off you.
Oh, that's the ultimate punishment, Ryan. Oh, I don't deserve Scotch after that. I'm so sorry, Janne Lehmann. Oh, and well, even with the Scandinavian serenity, that cool demeanour, that he made the tiniest mistake there, Ryan, but unfortunately the most severe punishment.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's so easy to make a mistake in that corner because you want. Is it actually the Henkel as well? It looks like Henkel's made a mistake.
Yeah, it looks like he looked recovering there. Is this a standard turn 10A? You get actually the car gets very light over the crest there. They're going so fast with so little downforce, and whoa, just couldn't get it slowed down in time. Slams it into reverse and carries on. Doesn't even lose track position, so not too bad there. But well, of course, we saw at the very first Petit Le Mans in 1998, even a car with downforce, the Porsche 911 GT 198, actually got, when it got a little bit of air underneath, actually flipped over on the back straight there as well, so it can happen.
As the battle between the Snelson and Bentley for 10th position is going on at the moment. These guys have been pretty much close since the start of the race, and not too far behind these guys is Emmanuel Pereira in 12th.
Yeah, Pereira in the flying popsicle, as we call it. It's almost looked like a fruit pastel iced lolly. There you go. Wow, that's bright as well. We always nice and easy to pick out Emmanuel Pereira on circuit. Every colour of the rainbow here.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like a kind of like hipster livery, or hippie livery as the people used to be called. But I think it looks cool. It looks it looks like Sanchez has made a mistake as well, and they're recovering.
And you can see he's got an in-helmet camera there on the side of the car as well. That's the face he's showing as after this mistake. Hard on the brakes again, turn 10AB. I think a number of the drivers are getting caught out here with that slight rise and almost a carbon copy there of Henkel's accident.
Yeah, pretty much is, and I think it's just the nature of the corner as well. You're having to slow down so much, and I think maybe some of these guys are maybe trying to trail brake as well at the same time when they're trying to slow down so quickly.
Yeah, it's of course these guys are pushing at the very limit. So yes, I think you're right, Ryan. That trail braking is going to be really hard coming into that particular area. Of course, this particular circuit here at Road Atlanta was home to when the Can-Am days, when Can-Am was starting to get really, really silly with over 1,000 horsepower turbocharged cars. Of course, with the arrival of the Porsche 91710 with Penske, which was actually nicknamed the Panzer Porsche because it was so dangerous and so powerful. But Mark Donoghue actually in testing, he was testing a magnesium chassis version, and the bodywork started to come off here on the back straight and threw him into a pretty extreme accident. But it's heady days at Road Atlanta. But the first Can-Am race here was won by none other than Tony Dean in a Porsche 908.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. But at the moment, Mick Claridge is still, well, pretty much they still got about a 1.5 second lead to Rob Olenek, and Olenek I think as well. I think he's kind of by himself as well, because I think Cortinemi's maybe just dropped back ever so slightly.
Yeah, Cortinemi really has kind of dropped off the scent here a little bit. Rob Olenek, you've got to admire his tenacity. He's trying absolutely everything, lapping so well. 116.8. Now, in any other race, you would just be dominant with that pace, but unfortunately, last time around, Mick Claridge, 116.8.
Yeah, he's just pretty much on form at the moment, and Mick Claridge, these guys must be asking themselves, what have they got to do to beat him? And honestly, the only way I can think that these guys can beat Mick is if Mick has an issue like internet disconnection, technical issues, anything like that, or if he makes a mistake. Apart from that, when it comes to pace, I think Mick Claridge is just pretty much just dynamite when it comes to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think knowing Rob Olenek or Topi Cortinemi for that matter, I don't think that would be the way they would want to get the victory. I think they want to beat Mick on track, but well, we'll see. It's been an amazing charge for Mick Claridge, probably the biggest stretch of race wins we've ever seen consecutively in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. Now, don't be alarmed at those scratches at the front of Mick Claridge's Lotus. That's just more wear and tear over the course of the race, so nothing to worry about too much. Interestingly, Claridge lost about 0.4 of a second to Olenek last time by, perhaps making his way through the first pieces of lap traffic, but answers straight back by being a little bit quicker again last time by.
Yeah, and the battle with Manuel Pereira and Yanni Lehmann's going on as well, so it looks like Lehmann's possibly made a mistake and it's allowed Pereira through.
Well, Mick Claridge knew. It shows you how much in control he is. Just lost a bit of time on that lap with lap traffic, and as soon as he gets clean air again, 116.5, the fastest of anyone in this race. Absolutely exceptional. Now, you got to love this tenacity here from Yanni Lehmann in the number 13 car, and if you can't spot it on track, it's the one car that looks like it's halfway between Mad Max and a Whalen modified, with the big radiator out there at the front.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem to be hampering Lehmann too much by the looks of it, but when it comes to the corners, I think he'll be hampered a little bit because just front end hand on, but at the moment he's just he's still going at the moment, so he in 13th, so if he finishes his race he'll still finish in a decent position, but at the moment he's just pretty much a race of making it to the end now.
Yep, gonna bring it home there as well. So we're looking at Eugenia Massa and Bruno as well. Andres Bruno going through for 18th position, and now I'm wondering if that's is that a Uruguayan flag on Andres Bruno's machine? I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it quite possibly could be. Yeah, I was just about to ask the same thing because the colours look familiar. So if it is, then I have to say I'm loving that livery.
Yeah, it looks cool. It's either Uruguayan or Argentinian. I'm not sure. We'll try and find out. Very cool. Whatever country it represents. But you see Yanni Lehmann having a look up the inside. Not quite. Certainly, I mean, this is a light car anyway, about 500 kilograms. I mean, for context, if you've ever seen a Caterham 7 on the road, it weighs about the same as that, but has a significant amount more power, nearly 400 horsepower coming from this Cosworth DFV engine. So there's a lot of squirt, this Lotus 49. But, well, Janne Lehmann's made his even lighter, Ryan, by removing some of the front bodywork.
Pretty much, and considering he's got that, or he's missing that front nose section, he's doing well to keep up with Pereira, and I thought Pereira would have pulled away from him quite easily.
Yeah, I would have thought so as well, to be honest, but Janne Lehmann really charging hard here, and he's got a good run out of turn 5 down towards turn 6. Very tricky corner there, right-hander, and then you've got to get back on the brakes again very quickly for turn 7. As you see a driver in front, there's a little puff of smoke, a little bit of a lock up there. That would be Snelson in 11th position, just having a little bit of a lock up. Now Andrew Eng in a 16th position, he's going to have the company of Mick Claridge before too long, so there is a little bit of a danger here for lap traffic, but we know that well, Mick Claridge is he's a bit of a master of managing his way through that traffic.
Yeah, he's not had any problems with traffic so far in this race, and at the moment he's got about 4 laps remaining in this race, and he's pretty much doing the job at the moment. I think just to keep it clean and just get to the finish. But as the battle for P6 is going on at the moment between Lars and Chris Murakami at the moment, and Chris Murakami having a decent race as well, actually. 7th place, this is probably... He's had a decent start to the season, and again, keeping up that good run of form in 7th.
He is indeed, yes. Chris Murakami, one of our real stalwarts of the Grand Prix Legends series here on the Global Sim Racing channel, chasing down a new face, certainly in recent times, of Lars Watzig. And Lars, what a start this has been here for this 2021 season 2. Hopefully we'll see him on a regular basis and can have a battle with... Whoa, no, Chris! Oh dear. Just too much mustard on the way in. Oh, and it's amazing how quick the rear of the car just overtakes and slaps you on the back of the head.
Yeah, that's the thing with these cars as well. It's so easy to look the car around. I mean, you've got to remember they don't have anything like really high amounts of downforce. It's all kind of just down to the driver, and Chris Murakami just carried too much speed on corner entry and they lost the rear.
Yeah, a little bit too much of that pendulum effect coming around, but Mick Claridge disposes of Andrew Eng, puts him a lap down, and will be 2 to go when he comes over the stripe, and just really opening up the taps now. 2.7 seconds the advantage to Rob Olenek. 2 more tours of this short circuit here at Road Atlanta, and Mick Claridge will continue his dominance of this series. Round turn 1 he goes up the hill. You're just looking up over the crest, you're thinking, where on earth are we going? Turn 3, turn 4, real balancing act, particularly in this car where you've got no help of aerodynamics, and then down the helter-skelter that is the S's. You can see Mick taking a lot of curb there indeed into turn 5, another nightmare corner, a little bit off camber, just manages the wheel spin beautifully there, almost no reverse or no opposite lock at all. Into turn 6 they go, another couple of lap traffic up ahead. Turn 7, the most important circuit, or most important corner on the circuit, turns back the wheel, back on the power, a little bit of a wiggle there, but very minimal indeed. If he had headlight flashers, he might well be flashing him at the car in front, but straight through he goes with Michael Griesinger there for lap traffic now as well. Dave Cohen there on the left pulls out the way, very nice indeed. Into turn 10 A and B, which was installed here in 1997 in advance of the first Petit Le Mans in 98. I mean, Brian, could you imagine going through there with no chicane?
Yeah, I've watched several videos of that old last corner, if you like, and it looked pretty scary in those GTP cars, that's for sure.
Yes, indeed it would be. So we're on to the final lap for Mick Claridge. Now there's a driver stopped, not on circuit thankfully, just on the exit road there as well. So a little bit of an issue there for one of our drivers further down the field. But it's been another masterclass. I mean, a proper clever drive from Mick Claridge. Didn't show his pace too early, just took it nice and steady and then built it up over the race. And now 4.4 seconds ahead of Rob Olenek. And Rob again books more points for the championship, Ryan, but it's back to the drawing board once again.
It pretty much is, and Rob's got to be thinking that if he wants to be up there challenging for the championship, which I know he can be, he's got to try and take wins in some of these remaining races to have stand any chance. But as Mick Claridge, the current champion, is coming around the final few corners and over the hill to take the win.
Yeah, and a nice big slide for us as well over the top of the hill there. Mick Claridge is your winner of round 5 of the Grand Prix Legends 2021 Season 2. Rob Olenek in second, and we wait for our third place finisher, Topi Kortenemi. Once again, Mr. Consistency here in the Grand Prix Legends Championship. We've got a bit of a wait for Uwe Trengrade, and I'll tell you what, Ryan, that's a fantastic recovery from that earlier mistake for Uwe Trengrade.
Yeah, absolutely. And Uwe Trengrade putting in a great recovery drive, finishing in 4th. Andreas Henko, a great drive by him to finish in 5th, comes across the line, and then just waiting for the rest of the field to come across the line as well.
So it looks like we've got a bit of a battle emerging right to the flag there. We did, but Andres Bruno coming out on top of that one. We're going to take a very short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but do not go anywhere because we will be right back with all the official results and post-race interviews. See you in a moment. Welcome back to Road Atlanta, where we have witnessed another absolute domination from Mick Claridge, continuing his massive run of race wins here in this championship, confirming then a 4.3 second advantage for Mick Claridge over Rob Olenek. Another superb performance from the New Englander, with Topi Kortenemi rounding out your podium, continuing his consistent championship drive so far. Uwe Trengrade was fourth after recovering from an earlier incident, with Andreas Henkel in fifth. Lars Watzek, brilliant arrival to the 2021 Season 2 Championship for the number 15 seed, so a good boost of iRating today for Lars Watzek. Xavier Sanchez finished in 7th, with Chris Murakami in 8th, Lewis Olsen in 9th, and Colin Bentley rounding out your top 10.
Finishing in 11th was Bruce Nelson, with Yanni Lehman finishing in 12th after having that nose damage on the front. Emmanuel Pereira finishes in 13th, with 14th going to Dave Cohen. Michael Gringinger in 15th, 16th was Andrew Eng, Andreas Bruno in 17th, Roland Wallbank 18th, 19th was Eugenio Massa, and rounding out the 20 was Steve O'Malley.
In 21st today was David Meyer, followed by Cesare Piccolo, John Olsen, Giacomo Angeli, Randy Hoff, Robert Plumley, Antonio Rees, Andre Schumacher, Don Good, and Sergio Furtado. Rounding out our 30 cars here today at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. We have our race winner joining us in the commentary box. Mick Claridge is with Ryan Walker. Yeah,
Mick continuing his good run of form at the moment, and pretty much taking that win, resisting the pressure from Rob Olenek and Topi Kortenemi in the early stages. And Mick, you just keep on coming up with the wins, and surely you must be thinking, how can someone beat me for once?
First, can you hear me okay?
Yep, loud and clear.
Well, yeah, no, I've had a lot of problems with the PC, so I had to do Windows reinstall and all the rest of it. I'm not sure everything's working. But yeah, no, listen, mate, Rob was quick today. We was in. He hasn't hardly practiced as well, and he was. I was 16.990 in the session before, and he was 17 flat. So I knew it was going to be a tight one, and I don't think he was slower than me in the race. I think he was there, on pace. I think he just had a bit bad luck, maybe, or different tyre pressures were making it a bit harder for him. I'm not too sure. No, he's gone quite high on his tyres lately. And it sort of seemed like he was getting that feeling where you get a really good lap, but then you've pushed the tyres too much and then you get a bad lap afterwards. So maybe that was going on. But no, I was expecting a bit of a fight there. And I think I'm not going to say I got lucky. I keep saying that every week, don't I? But yeah, no, it was good. It was hard though, hard race. Especially in that last turn. My car felt awful in the last turn. I thought I was going to come off the track every time I went around there.
Yeah, we saw in the final chicane on the back straight, several drivers were having issues with just losing the rear. Is it just the nature of the car, or the nature of the corner, just having to slow down all of a sudden, like really quickly, and then maybe just carrying too much speed? What do you think?
Well, first off, it's got to be something to do with iRacing's perfect weather physics that they do every week to us. We get practice sessions that start out at 73 Fahrenheit and they end up in 85 at the end. Then you get to the race and it's 67 Fahrenheit all the way through the race, So that throws you off a bit. But that corner is that kink down the back straight, you have to keep your foot in all the way down there. And then the back end goes on you. So really it's a corner in this car, that little tiny kink. You're going downhill as well. And the thing is, the brake markers before the car's straight, so you're still turning while you're braking. So you lose the front right, that locks up. And then if you've missed it by a couple of meters, you really have to put the foot on, on the brake hard. And normally that means you're just going to sail straight through it. So probably a bit of all of that, to be honest with you, with the weather mixed in,
And then looking ahead to next week as well, we head to a historical track, that is Le Mans, but using the historical layout.
Yes,
it's a track that I think you've went well at in the past. Looking forward to it.
I overtook him on the grass on the last lap. I did all right last time. I don't know if Pete's ever seen us race at Le Mans. I don't know if Pete, have you seen us race at Le Mans yet?
I'm not sure. Did you win there as well?
I won there last time we was there, but I think it was Steph was commentating. So yeah, mate, you're going to love that. 220 miles an hour down the whole straight and draft battles. It'll all be on the last lap. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for them on. I've waited too long for that. It should be with us every season. It's just such a brilliant race. And Michigan's the other one. I can't wait for that as well. But yeah, Le Mans, bring it on. Can't wait for that. Should see a Frenchie there as well. Should see the Flying Frog, you know.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Mick, anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to?
Well, seeing as I didn't mention them last time, I think I've been messing with them a bit. The three Mackenzie boys, they're sitting there. I think 2 of them watching, maybe 3 of them. So I'm not going to mess with them this week, and I'm going to say hello to those guys and thank them for everything they do, and just be really humble. You know, if I ever meet them again soon, you know, sorry forever if I did ever mess with you. Real humble apologies, and I love you all from the bottom of my heart.
Great to hear. Well, Mick, again, congratulations on winning another race and continuing your great.
So, right, did I sound a bit too serious then, mate?
I'm saying nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cheers, mate. I'll see you later.
See you next week. As that was Mick Claridge, winner of today's race, joining us. And Pete, I have to say, Mick Claridge just continuing his run, and you've got to wonder, can anyone stop him?
And a sentimental Mick Claridge at that. Goodness. But I think at Le Mans, as you say, the draft battles are going to be incredible next week. And yeah, of course, with any kind of draft race, it is a little bit more unpredictable. So yeah, Mick will be pushed all the way next week, I'm sure of it. Well, that is all we have time for today here on the Grand Prix Legends here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And a huge thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts. They can see them here listed on your screen. An additional thank you goes to June Lalonde, who provides all of our wonderful music. Check out on the screen of how to get a hold of her work on Bandcamp. A huge thank you goes to Ryan, Sean and Dougie for their work on today's broadcast. And if you'd like to hear more about us here at the Global Sim Racing channel, including our upcoming race broadcasts, check that out at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also go onto our social media feeds, Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Lastly, don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit the big red subscribe button so you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing channel. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.